Translation and adaptation of the original video for English-speaking audience was made by me, Dmitry of Value Cars, Australia. All rights to the original content belong to Клубный Сервис channel, and the source video link is provided in the description of this video with my thanks to the original authors. Please always keep in mind that my channel has no political affiliation, and I do not tolerate any racist or political statements in the comments to my videos, as all we discuss here are cars, that's it. Any political statements get deleted immediately and their authors get banned without any warning or hesitation. So please do not violate the community guidelines of my channel. Thank you. Great Wall Motor Tank 500 was rumored to be released in Australia at some point in not so distant future, but I personally do not trust these paid mass media articles, so I will only say we've no idea if it's coming and when it's coming. But in the meantime, let's keep our hopes up and let our Russian friends from Клубный Сервис Moscow tell us all that they have found out about this car, about this gorgeous Tank 500 model that they've gotten for review in their most recent video. Ilya says that in his last video he mentioned that in his opinion Tank 300 in many ways is better than Land Cruiser 200 model, and he also apparently said that Tank 500 is better than Land Cruiser 300, the brand new one. Please listen to the whole video, or at least a little bit more of this video, where he will explain to us why he said that and why he maintains that perspective now after having had a closer look at Tank 500. If you're interested, this translated video is going to be the usual part 1 of the 2 typically parts that I translate, where today we will hear Ilya show us the vehicle, all of its features, express his opinion about different things, exterior, interior, quality of materials, that kind of stuff, augmented by me obviously behind the camera here commenting on the perceived value for money, in my opinion anyway. And in the next video, Клубный Сервис will disassemble Tank 500 as they always do, adding to this story and showing us what a massive piece of rather appetizing cake is made of. What is it made of? Interested in continuation of this story? Well, guess what? Like this video and subscribe for more, and that's that. Whether this bit will be indicative for our Australian car market now or later when the Tank 500 might enter our market or not, in Russia right now this Tank 500 costs like half of a Land Cruiser 300 or a quarter of a Mercedes Geländewagen AMG price tag. Design of this car is clearly created for a specific crowd of more established, wealthy and older, let's call it, population, as it's unlikely that the youngsters will go for this kind of subjective beauty, while the older dudes like Ilya or me here, yours truly, would very much appreciate this gilded carriage, let's call it, in all its intended ride comfort and a bit of an excessive glory. In design we could see elements of perhaps Nissan Patrol models, Land Cruiser 200 definitely, and the front here, front grille and the front bits of the vehicle can be loosely labeled as somewhat unique and somewhat an amalgamation of design between Japanese and Chinese car looks that we kind of started getting sort of a bit used to looking at different cars that we've been doing over the past few months. First thing that you will inevitably notice is the massive size of this vehicle. The length of Tank 500 is just a tiny bit short of 5 meters long, width is about 1.9 meters and height is just above 1.99 meters as well. So this vehicle is truly really massive. The only problem with this particular model that is released into Russian market is its engine, according to Ilya here. What this engine is a V6 bi-turbo engine that pumps out 299 horsepower, but apparently Chinese version is much more powerful, and Ilya here is talking about feeling a little robbed of that extra power, I suppose, and not having access to, let's say, a diesel version that this vehicle is kind of clearly asking for, at least in his opinion. Or at least that is what this kind of vehicles class is expected to have when people are buying them for that type of money, quite a lot of money in Russia anyway. Talking about the exterior of Tank 500, it's probably one of those exteriors that you will either immediately love if it's your kind of cup of tea, or you will If not hate, then you will dislike it. It's somewhat polarizing with its massive tank logo here at the front and general kind of lines of the body and the modular headlights. The boot of the vehicle opens by pressing a button. It releases the lock and the door will not just swing open because it opens sideways, not upward. Ilya isn't very happy here about how the boot floor panel is realized and implemented, where you need to sort of pull on these little things here and you pull it out awkwardly before you can extract it and remove it to just start doing whatever you need to do there. And that's the first thing to point out here. Second is that if you look at the state of the boot panels here on the side, you will notice all sorts of scuffs and scratches where while the car is brand new, it has less than apparently 1,000 kilometers on the clock. So if your dealer is delivering the vehicle to you, let's say, yeah, and put some spare tires into the boot or some other rather innocent scenario, this is what you're going to get, because according to Ilya, quality of the plastic in the boot here is really bad, actually inexcusably bad in this price category. The curtain, the top curtain to cover up the boot luggage there in the boot is very basic. You just pull it and then you roll it out and slide it into the slots to hold it in place. So far, once again, none of this looks premium, and if Ilya is right, Tank 500 is apparently starting in China from the ballpark price of about 30,000 American dollars, which, at least in this particular experiment, in this particular comparison, it sounds like about half of the equivalent price for this car, how much it costs in Russia right now. So it's a massive markup we're looking at, and that's why it's easy to understand why here a very experienced reviewer thinks that it's a great car, but it is definitely overpriced for what it is and for all of these design elements. The main reason why this car will still be bought by many people is A, because it's much cheaper than its counterparts such as Land Cruiser 300, and the second more objective reason is the inside of the car. Let's look at the interior. If you've ever seen the interior of Bentley at some car show or under some less likely, circumstances, you will initially get a surge of a similar delicate and very rich feel from the interior of Tank 500 apparently, until you start looking closer at all these side panels and handles that apparently collected already quite a lot of dust and a little bit of dirt in the creases from somewhere, who knows from where. Happens, of course, to more expensive cars as well, but here, this is just sort of part that points out to you how these materials, what is the type of materials and how it all is put together, which is certainly not to that highest price tag level. But it is, Ilya once again points out, that the interior itself produces a very rich and pretty impression generally. Price is certainly very different from Bentley, of course, and quite obviously the materials are not quite there, which we can't forgive for this kind of price range. There are elements that look like wood, but in fact it's plastic. Design of a lot of other elements also looks like aluminium, but at the same time it's plastic too. It is very pretty, but it's not exactly that kind of level of oomph that you expect. There is panoramic sunroof, which is massive apparently, and the seats are very impressive, attention grabbing, white with very nice stitching. And in practical day-to-day use, however, Ilya has his reservations on how all of that will remain pristine, clean and tidy. I share his reservations on this. I'm a very practical person. You don't have to be a tradie to drive this kind of car and worry about messing it up, like basically just leaving something that will never come off later. My friends, many of you probably wait for a very clean-cut and highly positive review, since the title of the video is expressing a view that our friends at Toyota and Land Cruiser lineup specifically should start, stocking up on their hot pills, looking at Tank 500's potential entry into our market. But as you know by now, both Ilya and myself, which is why I like his videos, we give you good and bad, honest reviews only. So, starting the engine of the vehicle, you would be used, if you're a driver of a Land Cruiser, you would be used to this massive engine, kind of revving up its massive engine. This is not something that happens in Tank 500, because the engine is much quieter and more modest from specifications and everything else. In the evening and at night, apparently the car interior looks even better. with all the extra lights and ambient lighting and all the dashes coming to life, built-in monitors, and also concealing the specks of dust everywhere that might have landed from somewhere and would have been very visible and in your face during daylight. Quick reminder is that we are not stopping to discuss the technical and mechanical particulars or build quality of Tank 500 beyond very high level opinion on the materials used here. In this video, wait for the next disassembly one and like this video and subscribe for more, by the way, if in case you are looking forward to that one. So we will stay focused on the initial perception, impressions and surfaces. There are two Android powered tablets here that are used for instruments panel and main controls of the vehicle in the front with a whole bunch of other buttons and the clock. Where Tank 500 is truly luxurious and very excessive in terms of comfort options, it all kind of starts with the broadly expected features, such as the remembering of the position of the adjusted seats for different drivers and passengers at the back. But we have more of a variety of driver and passenger massage modes, so extra excessive comfort kind of things. There are lots of settings and that are truly for decadent owners to some extent, I suppose, to indulge in, which seem very over the top and excessive. But that is my subjective humble opinion here. Ilya shares it, but again, you wouldn't judge a person buying a car like this for wanting a bit of that extra oomph and luxury. We have adjustable driving, braking and steering modes, auto parking feature and lots of other electronic assistance that we came to expect from even much cheaper and more affordable Chinese vehicles these days. So Tank 500 boasting the full package of those features isn't particularly surprising. It's kinda to be expected. There is a very every imaginable safety feature here, all sorts of warnings, and most likely the invasive electronic emergency lane keep assist, but that's just me, Dmitry, guessing here, because surely GWM packed it into this car, because why not throw it in, and why make exceptions if you're stubborn and aren't particularly listening to feedback from your real users and serious lawsuits are still not hitting your company? Yeah, I don't wish it for you, God bless, but just wait and see what happens and when it overtakes some tabloid headlines. I'm sure one thing that GWM and I have in common is that we both hope it never happens. Problem is, we hope that it never happens for different reasons. Now back to positives. Speaking of driving modes, this car actually has a full 4x4 off-road support modes. We don't know exactly how it will perform off-road because it looks way too pretty for that, but it does have support of those driving modes, including differential lock and even cameras that come on in the four-wheel driving off-road mode that face down and show to you what exactly is under your massive wheels when you need it. That is pretty impressive. When you sit at the back, you can see that the space in the car is planned out and allowed very generously. Well, it's a massive car. As Ilya here, he's a big dude and he sits practically behind his own comfortable driving position. And he's still 2 meters tall, and sitting at the back very comfortably in that kind of position tells us quite a lot, tells us something. There is pretty much anything you can imagine here at the back and hope for in terms of comfort and in terms of making your ride a lot more comfortable. So there is a little monitor here actually built in, believe it or not, where the passenger can control the opening of a sunroof, massage settings, heating of the seats and air conditioning. The most ridiculous thing is that the passenger at the back can actually control position and what happens to the front passenger's seat. Can you believe that? It's like it's designed for some mega big boss who sits at the back and decides how exactly their bodyguard or an unfortunate family member should sit in the front. That is perplexing. In addition to this screen, there are some physical buttons, some physical controls there that are slightly simplified compared to electronic controls, but you can, if you don't like screens, you could use those physical buttons to control certain other elements of your surroundings and environment and how you're driving, how you're riding there at the back. Ilya drove this car and he is insisting on the fact that with his experience, he honestly can tell us that a Tank 500 drives better and feels better and handles better on the road than Toyota Land Cruiser. It is a little bit slow apparently because engine is tiny bit on the lacking side, on the lighter side compared to the Chinese models of this vehicle, but there are a lot more wins here overall than losses for Tank 500 in his opinion. All in all, Tank 500 has left Ilya with a very pleasant initial feeling upon close examination, even with the cheaper materials and some shortfalls he pointed out to us. The thing that Ilya points out is that this slightly simplified Tank 500 version for the Russian market, compared to whatever is there for sale in China or elsewhere, something that might one day reach Australia, is still grossly overpriced for what it is.